Hi everyone, my name is Esther. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a thrifted home tour. A lot of the things I own are from a thrift store, but I'm also going to show you guys some antiques. One of them I just got recently and I'm really excited to show you. And so I'm going to show you those as well. I got from antique stores or from Facebook Marketplace. One of them I drove an hour and a half one way so about 3 hours to go get this piece, and so I'm going to show you that. So all of that is coming up next, so stay tuned. So I'm taking my camera and I am just going to go throughout my house and show you some beautiful things, but I'm going to start in my breakfast nook, and I love it because it just has a summer vibe to it, and I'm excited to show you that. So let's go.
Decorating is not always easy. I have learned many lessons as I've decorated my home. One of them was to stay within a color scheme, and that's what I did here. I took this piece of art and I took the yellow and blue from there and the brown for the frame and used that for the decor down below. And since summer is around the corner, I thought I would incorporate some yellow roses, but I also included some blue, like that blue picture. One way to change a room is to change prints. This one has yellow flowers with a blue plate. I find these on Etsy and get these printed for less than $1. I used to walk into expensive homes and wish I had a home like that, wondering how could I ever acquire beautiful furniture and beautiful pieces of art or home decor until I walked inside of a thrift store. But it didn't happen overnight. I had to learn what I wanted and what was it that I loved. And the truth is, it's things like this. Old vintage pieces that have a history. I got this at a Goodwill in Bellingham. I will link that up above. I even found that hen in a nest there in that corner from Goodwill. I will link another Goodwill in Shoreline, Washington, where I found these bowls. I like them so much that I ended up buying a platter that matched from replacements.com. Once I discovered my decor style was Victorian farmhouse, it all just seemed to come together. And that's my biggest tip for you. Find your style. It'll create the beautiful home that you desire. Now I'm going to show you a few things here, like that big white picture and this blue one here. I got those at Goodwill. Another thing to collect from antique stores are these little handkerchiefs. This one has blue in it. I thought it was so pretty. I draped it here inside of this picture. But look at this. I found this for $19.99. It is so heavy and the most beautiful cake stand I've ever seen. It is so pretty to leave out here on the table. Another way I've saved money is finding furniture like these chairs and table from Craigslist. I later painted them white with Annie Sloan chalk paint. Last year I added this cabinet. I got it for, I think it was $75. But what I want to show you here are a few things. My newest find is from a thrift store that I went to recently. It was this rooster on nest casserole dish. I seen it inside of a window at the store, and who would ever know that it was thrifted? To keep with the color brown in this room, I have that castle plate. I brought it home and it looks so good here. And a couple white floral plants inside brown clay pots. But here is another one of my latest finds I found at Value Village. It is a tea canister. I have filled it up with some tea bags, and I am just loving using this every day. Another one of my favorite finds was from my local Goodwill. What I really love about it is the wood. It is so pretty. It has a vintage look. And When I was at Value Village, I found this, and I use it for my tea bags. It is the perfect size. My daughter used to work at a thrift store, and while she was there, she found this Falsgraf teapot, and she bought it for me. So you know I really cherish this one. And so I use this and that teacup and saucer most days. We are now in my kitchen, and I'm going to show you some pieces that I call workhorses, like these sewing machine drawers. I found these on Etsy. Someone made a top for it, and now I use this for putting my chocolate in the drawers. I just love the old wood and the vintage handles. I think it adds a beauty to my kitchen. And on top, I have these sugar bowls. This one is an antique. And then this little one here on the left side, I got from Goodwill. I have the matching creamer as well. I put my sweetener in there. It's called Gentle Sweet. I will link that down below. It tastes just like sugar. So anyway, I store those on top of the sewing machine drawers. I also like to collect doilies. I get them from thrift stores or antique stores. To add beauty to my daily life, I decided to get some really nice ornate spoons. These ones are stainless steel, so I can put them in the dishwasher. Another workhorse for our family is this butter dish. We have replaced it, I think, about 3 times. I have found them on eBay, but the first one I found at an estate sale for $10. I really love the way it looks. I've worked on giving my kitchen a vintage vibe, and one of the ways that made a dramatic change was adding this large frame. I used to have a rooster there, but I wanted to give this a summer look. So I added some yellow flowers and these berries inside of a Victorian vase that I found at Goodwill. I seen this idea on a YouTube video, how to put something like this together. It is a teacup and saucer. I found them along with this white milk glass pedestal bowl. Every piece is thick, and the teacup and saucer are pretty large. And I was so excited when I found that they all fit together. I put my scrubber brushes inside, along with that mesh scrubber for cast iron skillets. The print I chose for this is a Victorian lady reading her book on a lazy summer day. I found the frame and that lamp from Goodwill. I love how that lamp has that arm that hangs over the sink. It has such a beautiful ambiance at nighttime. I also collect copper things. They're not as easy to find at Goodwill, but I did find that rooster one. There are a couple round ones that I got for under $5 at Goodwill. And that teapot, I actually found that at a gift shop for $22. This is my most recent find. I found a butter dish. And if you're wondering why I have 2, I use this one for Kerrygold butter. That's the kind I like to use. But anyway, back here, I have this crystal vase and I turned it into my knife holder. I use this a lot. And yes, I have butter on that because I just used that today. But I just want to show you this idea that I have. I found that crystal vase and that sugar bowl back there from Goodwill. And that is a real Redcliffe tureen. I use that for honey. And then I have this little bowl we use for Celtic salt. We like to put that on our tongue every time we drink a glass of water. We got that idea from Barbara O'Neill online. We love listening to her ideas for nutrition. I have another new thing that I added to our kitchen. It is here on this windowsill. I found this spoon holder. I have a little collection of vintage spoons and knives. And I'm going to show you one of the knives that I found while shopping with my family in Snohomish, Washington. This one was $2. And I found a few more as well. But I love this little setup. And it's so pretty on my windowsill. On the other side of my kitchen, I have this basket. It's been really nice to put our KitchenAid mixer in there. It makes it easy to move around, to scoot it out from underneath the cabinet. To the white pitcher, I added some yellow berries and a flower. And in front, I have this frame that I got from Goodwill. And inside is an old photo of a woman from the early 1900s. I got that for $1 at a junk store. It adds a vintage look to the side of my kitchen. Another way I find old vintage things is on eBay. Sometimes people don't know what they have. And I found this lamp base for $20. It didn't come with a glass shade, and so I had to buy that separately. I bought this glass dome and serving plate at different times, but look how well they go together. And I also got that vase at Goodwill and filled it with some beautiful faux flowers. This has been a nice way to add beauty to my home. Another amazing find is this dresser. Look how beautiful it is. I found this, a vanity and bed frame for $195. I think that was the best deal I've ever had. And this wooden piece on top, I believe, was for a buffet, but I could see this also on a fireplace mantle. I originally got that for our fireplace, but it just didn't fit. Now look at this. It's a Mozart bust. I found that at Goodwill for $9.99. This is one of those pieces that you can move around all over your home to give it a new look. I also have a Fallsgraph pitcher that I put some beautiful flowers inside. I added some blue and some white lilacs. And then here on the right side, I have this little blue and white pitcher. It has that perfect light blue. I added a lighthouse print to this gold frame, and it also has the blue sky. It really matches the wall. I found these gold frames from Temu. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's an online store. I'm sure you've heard of it. They do a lot of advertising. I will show you another one that I put on our dining room table. If you remember, I shared that at the beginning of the video. I think that one is my favorite. After a lot of tweaking and finding things for this living room, I can say it is done. And this is what it's like when you know you have put a lot of time and thought into a room, and when it's all together, it feels so good. Each of the things I added just go together so well, like these navy blue dahlias inside of this white pitcher that I got for $16 at a thrift store. And the Scales of Justice was found for $10 at a thrift store in Idaho. I will never forget that day. Or these gold cherub lamps that I got at an antique store. It has the perfect look that I love for my home. I added my favorite teacup and saucer on top of this old scale. I laid a beautiful ironed lace handkerchief on top of the scale and laid the teacup and saucer on top. And yes, this chair was found on Facebook Marketplace many years ago. It's so interesting when I share all these finds. I live with these things and I don't even realize, but I got some pretty good deals. This chair was found at Goodwill, and underneath I have this basket that I put some blankets in. I found another chair right next to this one at my local Goodwill. I will show you that in just a moment. This sofa took a long time for me to find. I waited for a couple of years. It is everything I wanted. It has the wood carved edges, and it is green, my favorite color. The fabric is in pristine condition, and it's been really easy to care for. I scooted the ottoman out of the way to show you the legs. Finding special things like this takes time, but when you find it, oh my goodness, it has made all the difference in this room, and it is super cozy. I'm telling you, that was a great find. I also like to decorate with dishes like this. This is an antique. It's unusable, but I love to display it. I have this beautiful Hollywood Regency candelabra. It just has that perfect Victorian look with the brass arms and the marble bottom. Whenever possible, making a vignette like this on top of an armoire or a shelf just looks so amazing. I added some light blue transferware. That plate is from Switzerland. Here is a little pineapple statue. I love how it all looks here. The gray pillar candles go so well with the other grays in this room. I have done a lot of DIYs. I will link the video up above showing you how I painted this. That wood used to be light oak color. The fabric used to be a light blue, and I painted it with Amsterdam green to match our green sofa. And this wicker ottoman actually was a table at one time. I cut the legs short and put a pillow on top, and I found these perfect pillows. One is a blue ticking and the other one has burlap fabric. And now I'm going to take you behind these chairs and show you the other chair I found alongside that black leather chair. I had to fix that pillow, but look how well it goes with that wall. Another idea is to fill a basket with flowers. I already had a bunch of white flowers, and I filled the basket overflowing. And yes, I found that basket at Goodwill as well for $5.99. Now this lamp was found on Amazon. I will link that down below. It is gorgeous. And this was found at Salvation Army. But what I love about it is it has the combination of the Victorian and farmhouse. This is how you combine them. Finding pieces that have the ornate but the rustic. On top of here, I have a camera and Ball's Graph gravy bowl and plate. So this area is our entryway, and if you turn around, you will find a staircase. And I have a gallery wall here, and I will link the video up above where I share all the details of that. I found most of those frames for $55, and that was 11 of them. But I have to show you one of the best finds was this coat rack. I have priced these, and they can be very expensive, but I found this one for $24.99. And I'm going to change the lighting on my camera because I want to show you what this cabinet looks like. I drove all the way to the heart of Seattle and picked this up for $100. It is my coat closet, and on top I have a vintage hat on top of a hat box. I got that at Ross Dress for Less, of all places. Those are great to collect. When it gets warm at night, it brings out our summer tradition. We love to gather around our fire pit, so I created this saying: the best nights are usually unplanned, random, and spontaneous. Those are the best nights. Most of the things in our guest bathroom are from a thrift store, and I'm going to only show you the best things. This is the most recent find. I found that bathroom sign at Value Village. I added some pretty summer flowers. They look so real. I placed them inside this coffee pot. This cabinet was also thrifted. As well, on top, there is a men's jewelry box that I found that same day. So I was able to see how they fit together. And this was found at Goodwill outlet for $5.99, and I painted it with Aubusson blue chalk paint. And this is a hand towel that I found at an antique store. And this mirror I've had tucked underneath the sink. I forgot all about it, and I brought it out. Look how amazing it looks. I put these hot pink flowers inside of this vase grass vase. I got this idea off of Pinterest to put toilet paper on top of a galvanized scale. I thought that was such a unique look. The biggest changes you will find is in this fireside room. I have some new additions that I mentioned that I found recently. And as you can see, I am adding pink to this room. I have been wanting to do this for a while, but something happened and I found something that just helped me get my mind focused on creating this beautiful pink rose color scheme. On top of this cubby shelf, I have this picture of a lady reading a book in a garden. I thought that was perfect for summer. And inside of these cubby holes, I have so many different things. But today I'm just going to show you my newest finds. Like these little postcards that I found for $1.50 at a gift shop. I love the vintage look of these. They are just so cute. And then right up above this one, I have these gold frames I brought from my bedroom. This is a little blue bird. And the other one right here behind this lamp is a little brown bird. Now I'm going to show you what I drove 3 hours to pick up. It was this chair. I have been wanting a high back Victorian chair, just like I've seen in Downton Abbey. And it was that muted pink, and the fabric is velvet. I almost didn't get it because the wood had an oak color. But I remembered that I have done DIYs before. And so I brought it home and I taped the edges to make sure the velvet didn't get any paint on it. I didn't even have to sand it. I just painted it with this paint. And look how it turned out. When I show you the pillow shams I bought before I got this chair, the pink is muted just like the chair and was the color that I wanted. I mean, look at that. Now behind here on the wall, I placed a couple things here. I have that platter with 2 Victorian ladies. And this is a new one. It is gold and it has this fancy dressed Victorian lady. And I added it in front of these maps, not wanting to take away from being able to view them. I got this vintage newspaper holder for $7.99 from Goodwill. This is a chase that I painted with Annie Sloan chalk paint. It is the most coziest place to sit to read. The cushion is filled with goose down feathers, and so it is so soft to sit on. I added a needlepoint pillow with some roses. When looking for pink things, it's really interesting how many different shades there are. And not all of them go together, but I really worked hard to make them match. What I love is that this is the coziest place for my husband in the morning when he is getting ready for work. He likes to rest here right before he goes. So those pillows are nice and cozy. And this little stool came from an antique store. It has that pink. I had a lot of fun decorating this room. On this end table, I have this clock and this lamp that I got from a thrift store. I will link the video up above where I found this lamp. And by the way, those roses are real. I received them from my mother-in-law for Mother's Day. But this is the one that I wanted to show you. It is my new antique. I found it with my family while shopping in Snohomish, Washington, which is the most amazing place to find antiques. But look at the details and that wood. I love all of the details, especially these arms. It looked like it had been sitting in storage for a while, so I brought it home and scrubbed it down with a toothbrush. There are some nail heads around the seat that were really dirty. It just looks so amazing. I mean, look at that worn leather. In a moment, I'm going to show you the date. There is a spring at the bottom, and I turned it over and I looked at the date on the spring, and it says 1897. Look at that. I looked on Google Lens, and this chair is worth $600, and I paid a third of that. Then here on our fireplace mantle, I have some more things I found. These came from Goodwill, but this is my newest find. I found on the same day I got that antique chair. It is an old antique clock. I will show you the details in just a moment. Right next to it, I have this bouquet of flowers. I put them inside of this crystal pitcher that I thrifted. And do you remember me showing you guys these handkerchiefs that I've been putting around the house? Here is another one. To add the layered look, I put a tureen back here, and you can see how it peeks out a little bit. And I did the same thing on the other side, and I got that tureen for $8. I know, I can't believe my finds sometimes. It has really helped me to figure out my style, because when I see it, it jumps out at me like this clock did. Look at that handle. I don't know, can you see the details? Here is a corner. It has the intricate foot. So pretty. And I love that gold front. It goes with that gold mirror that I found at Goodwill recently. And here is a gallery wall. I laid all of this down on the floor so I could figure out how to put it all together. And it really did make it a lot easier. And yes, I found that vase with the cherubs from Goodwill as well. But what I love is this little find. It is a teacup and saucer, and underneath I put a vintage handkerchief. And then I found this picture that I thought was vintage, but I looked at the bottom and it said it was, I believe, 1998. And these plates I used for Christmas decor, and I like how they just stack up there in the corner. Here is the matching cherub lamp. I wanted to add more gold to this room, and I think it looks great in here. And over here on this wall, I have a Paul de la Prie rose print, and on top of that, I have a platter with a rose saucer. This is a panoramic photo from World War II. I didn't want to overflow this area with too many roses, so I added this one. It has a light pink, and that frame came from Goodwill. These are some frames I was telling you about before that came from Temu, and now this is what the wall looks like on top of this white buffet. I think when you buy the right piece, it speaks for itself. It has a vintage look, and it is all you need in a room. And that is what this candelabra is. Beautiful on its own. with its crystals, the brass arms, the marble middle, and the most beautiful base. This is a gorgeous piece. A lot of these things I didn't acquire all at once. It has taken me years to get the things I'm showing you today. And it took me a long time to try to figure it all out. That when I go thrifting, I don't just buy anything. I only buy what will go with what I have in my home. And that has helped me put together a home of my dreams. And it is still in progress. But something I've learned is to be happy with what you have. Life is so short. And even though it's wonderful to surround yourself with beautiful things like this white ironstone pitcher, that the most important part of life is those that you love. But when you have a vintage heart like I do, when I walk into a thrift store and I see beautiful old antiques and vintage pieces, it is like nothing else, especially when you find them for really cheap. On top of this hutch, I have this antique mirror, and in front of it is a broken piece of a fireplace mantle. My husband glued it together as best as he could. I just wanted a memory of it because it was just so beautiful. And that is a brass pedestal tray that I found for $12. And this was the very first Goodwill find I found for $5.99. This teapot is probably the most expensive thing I own. It is well worth over $100. I did buy it for less. And yes, finding silver at Goodwill was so much fun. I have quite the little collection going on. And after I polish them, you would never know. And I want to show you this little set. I have actually quite a few of these little teacups and saucers. It is of a Victorian lady that has her beau who is courting her. And I love that flow blue look. And on Amazon I found this teacup and saucer stand. And look at that. Look how well they go together. I will link that down below. And then here is another little handkerchief. Put it on top of this glass pedestal tray. That is one of my more recent finds. If you've been following me, you remember this. When I took you to Goodwill, I put it together. I added these glass jars. And then I took some flowers I already have. And I made a little floral arrangement. Do you guys see that teapot in the back? I got that for $5.99 at my local Goodwill. And that one was thrifted from Goodwill as well. I just wanted to show you what this settee looks like. The day I went to pick up that pink chair, I found this praying man at a Valley Village. A couple years ago, I went to a junk store. I will link that down below. The owner of the store gave me the best deal. I paid $50 for a whole set, which included 20 of these plates, which is amazing when I have guests over. And I rarely ever show you this cabinet, but I wanted to show it to you up close. On top, I have some thrifted finds. Here is a silver carafe and a teapot. And then over here, I have a basket and a blanket, both found from Goodwill. And these are the handles. I hope you were inspired today, that you too can find beautiful things at a thrift store, and over time, a home of your dreams.
Thank you for joining me today. That was so much fun, showing you all of my antiques and thrift store finds. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.